Have you ever gone to visit someone and returned feeling more exhausted than before you left? At this stage of life, visiting isn't always a light, harmless activity it once was. In fact, it can quietly drain you, physically, emotionally, and mentally, without you realizing it right away. This message is for people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Maybe you've been told to get out more, or you feel pressure to keep showing up for visits with friends or family, even when your heart and body are telling you otherwise. If you've ever felt guilty for skipping a visit, that feeling might actually be your body and mind trying to protect you. You've lived long enough to know not every invitation is a blessing. Not every outing is good for your well-being. One of the most difficult lessons that comes with aging is this: your time, energy, and presence are no longer unlimited. They must be guarded and given wisely. So today, we're talking about something many seniors feel, but rarely say. Visiting too often or too freely might be doing you more harm than good. And more importantly, becoming aware of this truth can lead to more peace, better health, and deeper self-respect. Let's look at 5 reasons why it's okay, sometimes even necessary, to say no to visits and stay home instead. Reason 1, the energy drain. As we age, energy becomes something we have to protect. Visiting, even people we deeply love, can take more out of us than expected. There's the prep, the commute, the small talk, the effort to be cheerful or put together. And afterward, the exhaustion, the quiet emotional letdown. It's rarely just a quick drop-by anymore. But most seniors don't talk about how drained they feel afterward. Some even feel ashamed, as if it means they're weak or antisocial. But the truth is, your nervous system doesn't bounce back the way it used to. What once felt like a fun afternoon now takes days to recover from. You may sleep poorly, feel moody, or even find your immune system struggling. And there's another layer, the invisible pressure to perform. Even if no one asks you to, you try to smile, hold in your aches, stay upbeat, and listen more than you speak, especially when visiting younger people. This silent emotional labor builds up. Take Joyce, 75. She used to visit her daughter and grandkids twice a week. But every time, her knees hurt more, her sleep got worse, and her digestion was off. Her doctor helped her realize it wasn't just physical fatigue. It was emotional burnout, too. So she cut back to once every 2 weeks. And everything changed. Her energy returned, her mood lifted, and her family noticed she was more present and peaceful. Energy is like money. You wouldn't spend your entire budget on one lunch. You'd plan and prioritize. Sometimes the best way to spend your energy is by staying home and resting. Reason 2, emotional expectations. For many older adults, visiting isn't just physical, it's emotional. Every smile, comment, or pause carries layers of expectation. Especially with family, you're not just a guest. You're expected to act a certain way, cheerful, patient, strong, or silent about things that matter to you. You might feel pressure to stay longer, avoid heavy topics, or suppress your real feelings. That emotional pressure, it's heavy, and it adds up over time. It doesn't take long before those visits that once felt warm and familiar begin to feel more like a silent performance. The emotional weight is heavier than physical tiredness. It lingers. You start to replay your words in your mind, wondering if you overshared. You notice when conversations go quiet after you speak, or worse, when someone abruptly changes a topic. Then you begin to question whether your presence was truly wanted in the first place. That kind of doubt can stay with you for days, especially when your life has slowed down, but theirs hasn't. Many older adults keep visiting out of habit or guilt, because it's what they've always done. But in doing so, they forget the emotional climate has shifted. Younger people may not realize how delicate inner peace becomes as we age. They might crack light-hearted jokes that actually sting, talk about things we can no longer relate to, or stay glued to their phones while we sit silently, wondering why we came. Gabriel, 78, visited his nephew's house every Sunday for months, until one day, the nephew's wife casually said, "You know you don't have to come every week." She meant it kindly, but it shattered something in him. He stopped visiting, not out of anger, but because he realized he had been showing up for them, while they hadn't been showing up for him. When we visit out of obligation, instead of genuine joy, resentment often creeps in. And in our later years, the last thing we need is more invisible heartache. Guarding our emotional space isn't selfish. It's wisdom. If spending time with someone begins to make you feel like less of yourself, it's not your job to fix the dynamic. It's your responsibility to stop walking into it. If you're still watching and finding this message meaningful, drop a 2 in the comments so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and turn on notifications. Your support helps us keep creating thoughtful content like this. Now let's talk about reason 3, the health risk. As we get older, even brief visits can carry hidden health risks. Our immune systems weaken, and a home full of people, especially kids or guests coming and going, can quietly expose us to germs and seasonal bugs. A mild cough to a toddler can mean a week-long illness for a 75-year-old. And most seniors won't speak up until they're already unwell. Visits may seem harmless, but think about it. Shared meals, hugs, doorknobs, even bathrooms. In just 1 hour, you've touched dozens of surfaces. And if you stay long, fatigue starts to build. Your body is working harder than it seems, trying to stay alert, polite, and socially present. Add in unfamiliar foods, late hours, loud conversations, and suddenly, the visit isn't a warm exchange, it's physical strain. Nancy, 82, adored seeing her daughter's family. But after each visit, she felt wiped out for days. One weekend, she caught a stomach virus from her granddaughter and ended up in the ER with dehydration. That's when she and her daughter made a new rule: no visits if anyone's even slightly sick. It was a tough decision, but a wise one. Older bodies thrive on stability, routine meals, steady medication, and good sleep. A single unexpected visit can throw all of that off. One poor night's rest can raise blood pressure, spike blood sugar, or bring back old pains. It's not just a visit. It's everything it disrupts. So ask yourself this: will this visit nourish my health, or chip away at the strength I've worked so hard to preserve? Reason 4, the silent financial pressure. Not all visits come free, even when no one talks about money. Many seniors feel a quiet pressure to contribute, bringing gifts, paying for outings, or offering help. Not because anyone expects it, but because we want to show love and not be a burden. But those little acts add up. Maybe you buy snacks for grandkids, cover a meal, or bring a few groceries. Sometimes you slip cash to someone in need. It doesn't feel like much until you look at the bigger picture. Peter, 78, visited his niece's family twice a month. He'd often bring pastries, small toys, or help with bills when things got tight. After 2 years, his financial planner showed him those small gestures had added up to over $4,000. Paul hadn't meant to buy affection, but he had been quietly spending himself into worry. Here's a truth we don't talk about enough. Many older adults unknowingly tie their sense of self-worth to how helpful they are. So when we go visiting, we look for ways to contribute, financially, emotionally, physically. We want to be useful. But in doing so, we often overextend ourselves, even when no one actually expects anything. Sometimes it's not what others ask of us. It's our own pride, our sense of responsibility, that pushes us too far. That's the psychological trap. When visits don't have clear boundaries, love can slowly get tangled up with unspoken costs. And when your resources, especially money, start running low, so does your peace of mind. If you're still watching and this message is striking a chord, please comment for below so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, tap that button and turn on notifications. Your support helps us keep sharing these kinds of honest, important conversations. Now, let's move on to reason 5, the risk of losing your own rhythm. As we grow older, our daily routines become more than just habits. They become lifelines. That steady rhythm gives us a sense of clarity, control, and calm. But when you start visiting others too often, whether it's friends, neighbors, or family, you slowly start living according to their pace instead of your own. It's not just about changing meal times or missing your afternoon rest. It's about losing your own flow. Maybe you prefer slow mornings, meals at certain times, or quiet walks in the evening. But in someone else's home, you find yourself adapting, eating later than usual, sitting longer than is comfortable, staying up when your body is ready for sleep. At first, It seems like a small sacrifice. But over time, these shifts throw your whole system out of sync. And for older adults, that disruption can quietly affect digestion, sleep, blood pressure, and even emotional well-being. But the rhythm we're talking about isn't just physical. It's mental too. It's the sense of owning your time, making your own choices, and feeling in charge of your day. And when that gets disrupted often, especially for the sake of social obligations, it can leave you feeling restless, off balance, and disconnected from yourself. Nora, 76, share how he used to visit a friend every Sunday. At first, he enjoyed it. Football conversation, shared meals. But gradually, he noticed something. He stopped reading his Sunday paper. He missed his peaceful walk. He no longer had his quiet coffee on the porch. His Sundays didn't feel like his anymore. This wasn't about one bad visit. It was about how easily he let go of the small routines that gave his life structure and meaning. As we age, true peace doesn't come from doing more. It comes from preserving the little rituals that nourish us. And sometimes that means saying no to visits that throw us off course. Final thoughts. Getting older teaches us a powerful lesson. Peace isn't about being everywhere, pleasing everyone, or staying constantly busy. It's about being deliberate, with our energy, our time, and our presence. Saying no to frequent visits doesn't mean shutting people out. It means choosing rest over performance, connection over obligation. You've earned the right to spend your time how you choose, to pause when you need to say yes only when it truly feels right. If you've ever come back from a visit feeling more drained and uplifted, you're not alone. Many older adults carry this quiet exhaustion, not from the visit itself, but from an invisible way to try and keep up, hold it together, and meet expectations. Now is the time to shift that, to listen to your own needs, to build a life that honors your health, your pace, and your peace, even if it means saying no more than you used to. So let me ask you, have you ever left a visit feeling more empty than full? Share your thoughts in the comments. What have you learned about protecting your energy? Thank you so much for watching. If this video spoke to you, please like, subscribe, and share. Your voice matters. And your support means everything as we continue creating content that informs, comforts, and uplifts. We look forward to connecting again in the next video.